Hi there foodies, welcome to the channel. Please subscribe to be notified of future videos. Hi, my name is Nadine and today I would like to show you how you can make a gluten and wheat-free waffle. I love waffles, but I do like as well a little bit more of the healthy version. So I would like to show you first all my ingredients, and I'm gonna start with eggs. You can't use eggs for a vegan, but an egg replacement, and I love to use the linseed. So linseed is well known as flaxseed, so you get it usually as a powder, so I just wanted to show you what it looks like. You mix that with water, so that could be your egg replacement. So there we go, some applesauce as well. We're using brown sugar. If you want to be very healthy, you can use golden syrup, anything like this. Baking powder, some cinnamon for the flavor, some salt, vanilla, apple cider vinegar, and oats, which is gonna be our replacement for flour. We're gonna grind it up so we have oat flour. Almond milk, you could use soy milk, any kind of substitute for normal milk. And instead of cocoa butter or fat, like usually you would use butter or something creamy rich, I decided to do this recipe today with tahini, which is basically sesame seeds roasted and then grinded up to a paste. You can buy this in the shops. This one is my homemade one. So first I would like to show you how you can activate your egg or egg replacement. As shown before, the linseeds are looking like this, and you can just use flaxseed powder, which you can buy in the shops, or you can grind it yourself. So you need to do that a little bit before you start baking because it needs time to activate. So you can add the water to this. So I have here 2 tablespoons of linseed, and I'm gonna add 5 to 6 tablespoons of water. And I have to mix this. So this is best you do that right at the beginning, because you want this to stay a little bit so that it becomes stronger and already like a gluey consistency. Right, so I'm gonna mix this really well. And you can see already it's starting to thicken up. As I mentioned earlier, this can be quite a tough mixture. So if you add a bit of applesauce, it helps and breaks down, I would say, enzyme. I'm not 100% sure. So I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of applesauce to this. You could also use a smashed banana, which works very well as well. Okay, so with this we're mixing nicely, and we're gonna let it stand now for 2 to 5 minutes before we can use it. So while this is now standing and getting activated, I'm gonna grind with you some of my oats that it's already measured out, 3 tablespoons. Okay, so now I'm going to put this into my Thermomix. Any other machine is fine, and we grind this to nice fine flour. And voila, we have beautiful ground oats, which will save you a lot of money if you can do this by yourself. Okay, now I have all my ingredients together, and I'm going to pour my oat flour in one, and I'm mixing all my dry ingredients with this. So it's always best when you bake, always keep your dry ingredients together. So in my oat flour now I'm adding my weighed out baking powder already. I'm going to mix my cinnamon. So if you do like more cinnamon, you can add more. This is 1.5 tablespoons. Always in baking, add a pinch of salt. The reason why you add salt is not for the taste. That is actually to activate the egg or our egg replacement. It makes it better that things bake. All right, so I'm leaving this now. We're gonna mix this at a later stage, and we're starting to combine all our other ingredients now. So I have a second bowl now in here. And in my second bowl, I'm going to combine my almond milk. Like I said earlier, you can use any other milk, and I'm going to use 1.5 cup. In here, I'm adding all my liquid ingredients because you want to keep dry together and the liquid ingredients together. So vanilla essence, my apple cider vinegar, which is going to help to activate. I've been experimenting with it and actually added more apple cider vinegar to help, and it didn't really come out, so rather stick to this amount as it is in the recipe. Stir this together. It might curdle a little bit, but that's fine as it is. So now here are now all our dry ingredients together. Your liquid ingredients together. And I do add as well in here my sugar because it helps the sugar to dissolve. So sugar is always an exception. Okay, so I'm going to give this a quick mix so that it dissolves. So we have our second bowl ready. Then we start with our third bowl. So for our third bowl, we have the tahini. Let me just maybe move all these away here. We have our tahini, which is 65 grams, or you can just make it easy, have a quarter cup of it. If you don't have tahini or you want to save money, you can use coconut fat or any margarine will do as well. And this one is a really nice healthy way. So we're gonna add this in here. And it smells very strong, not everybody's taste. I love it, it's really, really good. And now we're starting to stir in here, oopsie, a little bit of our milk mixture in order that it can get a little bit more runny. So we're only using a tiny, tiny bit of this. And mixing this up so it dissolves better and it is easier to mix. So you get this to a slightly runnier consistency. Can you see? And I can still see my whisk doing a swizzle. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of my mixture until it's like almost runny. Okay, so now at this stage, I'm going to add my egg replacement, which is our mixed flaxseed with water and our applesauce. And we are adding it to this bowl. So best is you do this, like I said earlier, a little bit in advance so it has time to activate. And now we are combining this really well. And we can add this mixture now back into our liquid bowl. So I hope I'm not confusing anybody. It's actually always easy. You always go more liquid, liquid, liquid. So that's why I chose a bigger bowl to make it easier. If you have one of those little things here, spatulas, they work much better in scraping it out. I'm now combining these really well. At the last but not least, I'm going to add my oat with all my flavors in here. And we are mixing this all together in here. So now this mixture feels like it's a little bit on the runny side. What the oats does, the oats will absorb all the liquid very quickly. So it could become a very thick mixture. So you have to leave it stand for a few more minutes. So this is a nice time when you mix it. You can clean up your kitchen for 5 to 10 minutes and then you can actually bake the waffles. So I mixed it now really well. And now at this stage, I'm going to let it sit for 10 minutes plus minus, and then we might have to adjust our liquid and add a little bit more water to this, and then we can bake our waffles. So it is very, very quick and easy. You can actually freeze these waffles and pop them into the toaster whenever you feel like in the morning and having a waffle to eat. All right, now I had my mixture standing for 10 to 15 minutes and I can see already by the way it looks, my whisk in my mixture, that I do have to add a little bit more liquid because the oats like to absorb all the water. So you see it is a little bit on the stiff side, so that is actually nice because you get more out of it, which is a bonus, isn't it? So I would usually go by feel, but I would like to show you how much we're gonna add. So I've added 1, 2, 3, 4 for the beginning, and I will see what my mixture looks like now. Okay, so I can see still it is very much on the starchy side, so I'm gonna add a little bit more of the water. So let's try another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Please don't take the amount as I'm doing here with yours. Maybe your oats don't take as much water. So really do the recipe as it is, and then you adjust it just before you're gonna bake it. Okay, let's mix this, and it's getting easier to mix because my mixture is now a little bit more on the runny side. So you can see it when I stir it, it actually falls back to the middle. So this is the right consistency you want it to be. So I've added 8 tablespoons. For you, it might be 4 or might be 6 only. Okay, in the meanwhile, I have switched on my waffle maker. My waffle maker is nice and hot. And now we are going to spray this with a little bit of spray and cook. You can use oil, anything fat, so that your waffle is not going to stick on the waffle iron. I've got a round one, you can use square, whatever you have. So this gives you 4 nice big waffles, or if you like them thinner, up to 6. So I'm gonna add a good big fat tablespoon, or maybe a little bit more, and I'm pushing this out. I'm gonna go with a little bit more. So now I'm pushing it down, and we're gonna let it do its thing. Okay, so when you smell actually the lovely waffle flavors coming out, that means your waffle is almost finished. It's ideal not to be too impatient, like I'm very impatient, and open it up, because that could break your waffle. So I like to have a peek, and it's often not the best idea. So rather wait for the smells, aromas to come, and then you only open up and you check. And you can see now, I could have added a little bit more mixture so to make this perfect waffles. And it is not as brown yet, so it needs a little bit more color. So I'm going to leave this another half a minute and check just now if it's ready. It's ready, so let's have a look. And it got a nicer color, and obviously the smell is lovely. So very important that you do spray it, and you should be able to lift it up, and it looks good from both sides. So even with having that sprayed earlier, before I put my second batch in, I'm still gonna spray it again, just to be on the safe side so it doesn't stick. So this time we're gonna add a little bit more mixture. So you see I'm using a big tablespoon, and let's try it another half one and see if we have enough. If you added too much, and that's why I was a bit careful earlier, then it will run out on all sides, and your waffle is so thick that it doesn't cook in the middle, and that's not a great experience. So rather have it a little bit on the smaller side than actually too much in. So this should be fine, and let's let that cook as well. Okay, these waffles look ready. And I think now, let's turn it the other way so it looks a little bit more pretty. You could actually let them cool down, put them into the freezer, and if you feel like a waffle, put it into a toaster, and you get them nice and crispy again. Actually finish your waffle to make it look sexy and pretty, because you do eat with your eyes. I didn't have much fruit in my house, so I just have to use what I have. I thought a banana always goes well, so we're gonna use a banana. I'm having some berry compote, which we're gonna add, and some flour, some icing sugar. So I'm just gonna cut this into some slices here. So you can put some prettiness on as well. And you don't have to, but you can make it look pretty with a little bit of icing sugar. And voila, you have a beautiful breakfast dish or afternoon dish whenever you feel like wanting to eat something more on the sweet side, but still healthy. Thank you so much for watching this video. It really means a lot to me. Please let me know in the comments below how this recipe worked out for you. If you have any suggestions or anything what you would like to see in the future, please leave me a comment below. I'm happy to do this for you. Please subscribe to my channel to be notified of future videos.